Personally, I don't know why motherfuckers act so surprised, because every year around Halloween, white people want to put on blackface, but fuck it. Truthpaste, let's talk about it. Some of you may or may not know, recently, I think it was maybe even today, there was a young lady dressed as Nicki Minaj, but in a dark blackface. And I say dark blackface because the color Nicki Minaj is closer to me, but the color this girl chose for Nicki Minaj is closer to like Kanye West. Speaking of Kanye West, there was a teacher in, I believe, Georgia who dressed up as Kanye West in blackface and got in trouble over it. And my guess is you'll probably see more photos of more white people dressed as their black idols for Halloween. It's gonna happen. But is it offensive? Is it offensive or is it insensitive? And that's really what we're going to talk about today. Now, of course, if you're from the baby boomer generation, you're probably going to say that it's offensive and it's racist. But allow me to put something into perspective for you. Someone who's 21 years old was born in 1994. I want you to think about that for a second. Take into consideration that by the time this person was 10 years old, it was already in the 2000s. What do you think they know about history? I mean, shit, let's keep it real. When you were 10 years old, how much did you know about black history? And how much do you think they know today? Minstrel shows started in like the mid-1800s. How many people do you think know that shit? Or exactly where minstrel shows come from? Like, let's keep it real. How many people do you know under the age of 30 that have seen Birth of a Nation? Like, for real. I guess not a lot. Truth be told, who's supposed to be the one to teach them these things? I myself had to go find this information on my own to learn it. How angry can we really be at someone for doing something they didn't know was offensive? They've got no historical knowledge of it being offensive at all. Not saying that's an excuse, because I still think that there's a level of responsibility that comes with dressing up like that, but at the same time, let's just keep it in perspective. If I wanted to dress up as Chief Joseph and I get called out for wearing the wrong garb by a Native American, that's my fault. That was my responsibility. That's my whole thing on all of this. Like, if you're gonna do that shit, you better be responsible about it and understand what's gonna come along with it. Truth be told, we don't really know if you're having fun or making fun, because back in the day, minstrel shows, white people dressed in blackface to make fun of niggas. I don't understand why I don't have to change the color of my skin and people still get my costume, but you gotta be as dark as a Swisher for people to understand you're Nicki Minaj. And yeah, I get it, it's a costume, we're all having fun, I want to dress up as my idol and shit like that. Well, don't have such a shitty costume. In fact, especially if you're going to be in blackface, you better have an on-point costume. You can't be in blackface and have a shitty costume. That's offensive. You can miss me with that. This is the only colors that they have. I live with two makeup artists. I done seen every skin tone from Iggy Azalea White to Kunta Kinte Black. Don't play with me. Look, my boy Kel always said correction isn't punishment. So when they do this shit, we don't have to punish them. Just be like, yo, do you know what that means? Rather than this being a moment to scold somebody, this can be a moment to educate someone who doesn't know anything about this shit because of their age. Sorry, white people, that we fly off the handle when y'all do this stupid shit, but we're very sensitive when it comes to our blackness and our likeness, because that shit gets stolen all the time. Honestly, all of this shit can be handled with a simple conversation. Were you trying to be offensive? No. Well, let me explain to you why other people might think this is offensive. No, we'd rather judge people, or we'd rather just do whatever the fuck we want and not be sensitive to others' feelings, and that's just why we end up with this shit right here. No one wants to take the time out to explain this shit, and no one who's in the wrong wants to take the time to listen to why they were wrong in the first place. Just end up with situations like this where black people want to hate on white people, and white people are standing there like, what did we do? I don't know what we did. What you did is you didn't do your history as to why this is offensive to us. There's a lot of pain deep-rooted in minstrel shows and blackface that still hurt today. And sadly, along the way, one of your black friends, or maybe you don't have any, didn't tell you that that shit wasn't cool and you probably shouldn't do that. And it's because of that I ask, whose fault is it really? You may never know. Brush up.